Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a content video today because it was a video that I talked about doing months ago and I haven't yet got around to it. And that video is on my top tips on weaning your baby from breastfeeding. I weaned him at, well, I started the process of weaning him at 14 months old. He is now 17 months old, and as you see, he is still very much so attached to the boob. But these are going to be my 5 tips on how to wean your baby from breastfeeding and things that I noticed really helped us when we were in the process. So, jumping right into tip number 1, my first tip would be to pick an age. So very early on in my pregnancy, I did a lot of research and I did a lot of planning for my breastfeeding journey once I gave birth. And part of that planning was me picking how long I wanted to breastfeed him. You want to talk? Here, you talk. Talk. Say hi. And like I said, ours was 1 year. And then once you have that goal age, you know, breastfeed as normal, enjoy every minute of it that you can, and when you notice that the months are creeping up on you and it's beginning the time of trying the process of weaning, my second tip will be to look into your supplement options, because after you're done breastfeeding, whether that's at 6 months or a year or 2 years, they're going to need something to replace that nutrition that they were getting from you breastfeeding. And for me, that was one of the hardest parts of the weaning process, because when I was looking into my options of supplementing, I didn't want to go to formula, and although he was old enough to go to regular milk, it seemed more difficult than I expected to try to get him to take to it. So I initially tried with almond milk, and he drank that 2 times, and after that would never take it again. So then I'm like, okay, well, I will go in the route of traditional milk, and I tried him with vitamin D milk or whole milk, and he would not take it. I started this process around 12 months, so I still had a very good milk supply, and I was still regularly nursing him. So I would try to, in the morning time, instead of doing a nursing, I would try to do a half and half breast milk and vitamin D milk mixture. And for a while he was okay with that, and then he slowly just didn't want that either. So I went back to feeds and going back to a regular routine, and I found myself like getting stuck in a rut. So I talked with his doctor, and because he is a very good eater, we decided that it wasn't necessarily that important to find something to replace it at the moment, because like I said, he does eat a very large variety of foods, and he does drink plenty of water, and he'll take milk and other things like oatmeal, eggs, smoothies. So I was able to sneak it in. So by me being able to do that, that was like another thing checked off of our list of things I wanted to accomplish before I fully stopped breastfeeding. Figure out before we could like fully wean him off was to get him used to it, to like figure out his patterns and the feed that he needed the most, and what routine would fit our lifestyle best once he did wean off. And I noticed around around 13 months that he was still very set into the routine of being nursed to sleep. So I started to slowly take away the feeds where he would be in the car, because a lot of times he would be in the car and I would have to sit in the back to nurse him. So I started to take out those feeds and get him more used to, you know, self-soothing himself when he's unhappy. And that is another reason he has the pass. So I'll give him the pass instead of giving him the boob during those situations. And I stopped also public feeds where we'd be out and about and I would nurse. I stopped those as well. So he would only get the boob if he was going to sleep. And then once we got into him lowering his feeds and only doing it at bedtime, then I slowly just took away. After we got in the routine of only doing them when he was going to bed, I started to limit the amount of time he was on the boob. So Normally he would nurse 15 minutes, then I would lower it to like he would have it for 5 minutes, then I'll give him the pass and he would hum himself to sleep like he's doing now. And then after that moment of me reducing the amount of time he nursed, it was able to start taking them away the gradual way. To me, just cold turkey did not work for us, and that is definitely an option. That is definitely an option to, you know, of course, stop breastfeeding. But if cold turkey doesn't work for you, then I definitely recommend you try out these tips, as well as the #1 tip of all, and that is don't feel bad about ending this journey, because all it is going to do is open up a new chapter, a new journey for you to take with your baby or your now toddler. So don't feel bad about stopping breastfeeding. I felt really bad and I felt really guilty in the beginning because he necessarily wasn't ready, and although I was ready, I felt bad because I was like pushing it on him, and sometimes that backfire and then you end up like this. But to me, I feel like it's better for him. He has really found a sense of independence after stopping breastfeeding. He started to do a lot of things on his own. He started to be able to do a lot of independent play, which I feel like was more beneficial than the boob and for our lifestyle. But I definitely recommend you do what you feel best is for you and your child. That is the most important. Go with your child's personality, with what works for them and what works for your family. And although we have stopped the journey of breastfeeding, we still get a lot of bonding time, and thankfully it has not interfered with any of the snuggles that I get. Like I said, I still have to work on the process of getting him out of this, because anytime he has this in his mouth, his hand still has to be in the boob. But that is, like I said, that's a few of my tips that I noticed works for us, and I hope that they help you in some kind of way. And if they do, please be sure to leave down below how they helped, which ones worked for you, which ones didn't. And if you have any of your own tips that worked for you that I did mention, please leave them down below for mothers who are looking at this video trying to figure out how to wean their babies off of the boob. And we'll see you in the next one. Say bye-bye. Say bye. Take out that pass. Say bye-bye.